We are on. Woo. Good morning, everyone. Now this is one of the better songs. Goes out to Steve at Elwood. Here we go.
Oh, you're Steve.
Woo. We gotta love this song.
Welcome to the jungle, and I tell you what, life is a jungle right now, isn't it?
It sure is.
That was a good song. Wow,
it's a great song.
I mean, yeah,
it's a jungle out there right now.
Wow, I might get the cassette out I have back in the basement here and play it again today.
Oh, here we go. The cassette, the DJ. Yeah, what were you? 1950?
Stephen, real quick, I used to be a DJ in 1986.
Wow.
I was 12 years old when I was a DJ. Started out, and my name was DJ Richie Rich. And I had the cartoon character Richie Rich. So I like, no trademarks or nothing. I used to go and do weddings and
oh man, I love it.
Gatherings. My dad used to drop me off, and it was pretty entertaining for like 10 years.
Hey, all right. Good morning, everyone. I'll tell you what, Steve, I believe it's 8 o'clock in the morning for you.
It is 8 a.m. in Utah.
Nice. You know, I want to thank Steve for coming on the show for Shark Week here. I'm going to turn it over to Richard. And, with Elwood Staffing, I'll tell you what, we have Elwood here, and it's another great staffing company. I really appreciate your company allowing you to come on. Listen, this is what it's about, but I'm going to turn it over to the staffing shark, Richard Rosner. Take it, Richard.
Well, thank you, Dave. Hey, Stephen, great to have you on the show here. Always nice to have companies that are staffing friends because we're all in it together. But we're just going to deep dive into everything, Steve. I mean, you're an expert in the staffing industry, so I'm going to give you the spotlight, and then we're just going to give some feedback.
Well, thank you. And Dave and Richard, thanks for having me on the show. And, some of the things I say today are not going to represent Elwood. It's just Steven speaking as regional manager in Utah. Take it with a grain of salt. But, I'm actually a transplant to the industry. I come from retail management and consulting, and I jumped into this industry just 2.5 years ago and just been figuring it out. And there's been a common theme that I've found that's, that works in this industry, and that is social media marketing. And I see all of the efforts other agencies, put into their job ads and Indeed postings and ZipRecruiter and, every job board they can find. And they wait for the resumes to come in and they're not coming in. And, this pandemic has really flipped that whole strategy upside down. And we're finding we need to reach out to our candidates to where they're at. If you wanted to find a bunch of Catholics on Christmas, where would you look? Like, you would look in a cathedral. You would go to a church to find a bunch of Catholics. And so where do we find a bunch of applicants that are not applying, that are not on the job boards? Well, you've got to find them where they're at. They're on their phone, they're on their computers, and we need to reach out to them. And so that's something that I comes from my retail management background that I found staffing doesn't use. And so I've really embraced it, and we've had fun with it. And I find that if you use social media, just like you guys here on Facebook, or you're on LinkedIn Live, you're on Facebook Live, you're reaching an audience that you haven't been able to reach before with the traditional job ad. And so I know we'll talk about it in the show today, but we're doing Facebook Lives and all of the job boards on Facebook. And the other agencies, they haven't figured it out. They're still doing a static job ad, and they're just spamming these job boards with static job ads.
Generic ads, Stephen, generic ads.
Oh, it's and I'll let them, hey, you know what? You can steal my secrets today, other agencies that are watching this, but
write them down.
They're not. Most of them are not comfortable with going live and doing a video. I do 2 Facebook Live videos a day in these groups that have 20,000 people in them, and I still have yet seen another agency go live in these job boards. It's amazing.
Thank you. And I'll tell you, that's what I'm going to jump in on that one. You are correct, because with Facebook Live on your own, but jump in live on that page. Thank you.
Yeah.
There you go.
And it's like we said, Stephen, it's a human connection. They want to see the recruiter. They want to see the person they're going to be working with, not just
exactly. They want a face with Elwood. If I wake up tomorrow and I find myself unemployed and I need a job, what's the first thing that comes to my mind? It has to be Elwood Staffing in my market. Okay, it could be Result Staffing in yours and Staffing Shark in yours, but as a job seeker, when I find myself unemployed looking for a job, I need the very first thought is Elwood Staffing, and my face is gonna pop up in your mind. Sorry, not everybody wants to see this face when they think of a job, but that's what they're gonna think of when they wake up and they find themselves looking for a job, and that's the power of that human connection. And social media allows you to deliver that in a very genuine way. It's just that's what works.
Exactly. And the more topics you talk about, like Stephen, like I've watched a couple of your things, you just don't say we have a job for you. You're relating to them and talking about the crisis and the different things that are going on right now, which is great.
Yeah. People, they're hurting right now in this pandemic. I hear so many companies say, and hiring managers, it's really unfortunate. You don't blame them, but they just say, hey, these people they're taking advantage of the situation. They're getting paid more at home, so they're staying home. And I have to correct these people and say, look, there might be one or two that take advantage of the situation. There always will be a couple, but families are scared. People are scared to enter the workforce. It's so uncertain out there. There's so many mixed messages being sent during this pandemic. And so even if they take a 70% cut in their pay, they're not motivated to get back into the workforce because they're scared. And so I've every single day on Facebook Live talked about, look, I know you're scared. I know you're hurting, and this is not a one size fits all, but let me walk you through what my clients are doing to keep COVID-19 out of the workplace. They've got one-ways, they've got face masks, face shields, they're taking temperatures at the door. If you're hurting financially, don't cut yourself off because you're afraid of entering the workplace. Yes. Let's talk about it. Let's safely navigate back to work. And not every client's going to have the greatest PPE in place. So we'll walk you through the one that is the best fit that you feel comfortable moving forward with. They don't know what I see. I see all the positive cases, that are coming out that we hear from our clients, and they don't know that every single one of these cases, the person contracted it in the community and not from their coworker. So they stopped them at the door with the temperature check. They were running a temperature. They sent them home and had them quarantined, or they found out a coworker was asymptomatic, and so that person's quarantined along with the coworkers, and it doesn't spread because of all the PPE, and that's what I'm trying to do every day is educate my associate base to let them know that, hey, the clients we are working with, we're going to help you navigate back safely. And here's the things they're doing to keep COVID out of the workplace. And that's just one of many things that, I talk about every day to help our team members, help our associates get back to work. And you can do that in a static job post on Indeed.
Exactly. And you know what I like about that, Stephen? Like, I don't even tell people I'm interviewing them. It's a meet and greet. We're getting to know what they want and stuff like that instead of going through 5 questions, which you probably agree with too. 5 questions, say, hey, what do you?
Right.
Say, yeah, no. And then they have no clue. You got to get to know that person.
The 6-minute interview is over. You can't have a 6-minute interview.
It's meet and greet like you're sitting at the bar having a beer with them, right? I mean, it's like, get to know each other so they can trust you and you can trust them, right?
Exactly.
Steve, I have to ask you. I didn't ask you this before. When I started watching your videos and we've started talking, and it's always nice to talk to other people with ideas. I love it, because we've talked a couple of times and with Rich. But when you're doing those walking in the office, who's holding that cell phone for you? Or you have an extension? He walks so smooth; it's getting better and better. I'm just telling you.
My team practices walking backwards, and we map out a path in the office, and I'm like, so we scripted out the path, and then we run with it.
You're getting better and better. I'm like, how the hell? Oh, I got Rich in my mouth this morning.
Oh,
I get all pumped up because I'm like, how is he doing that? You know me, I'll go crazy all night. I'll Google it. Like,
that's the best part about it, Dave, is I've gotten clients unintentionally from these Facebook Lives because they're thinking the same thing. Like, how is he doing that? And if he's engaging this well on Facebook, they must be doing something right with their associates. I want to contact Steven at Elwood. And that's exactly what happens.
That's incredible. And you have to have fun with it too. As you see with me with the shark head and stuff, you have to enjoy it too, but also bring that educational part with it too.
Yeah. And I mean, we'll do a Facebook Live in front of a client, and we'll talk about the job openings. And I always thought that was a good idea, but when I discovered Dave's podcast and watching your LinkedIn Lives, and you talked about doing that, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to take the leap of faith. I'm going to do it. And now it's the best practice. We do it every week. It's fun, and we get a lot of attention. And the interesting thing is we find on Facebook, when we're doing these Facebook Lives, the people we're hiring are not the ones that see the Facebook Live. It's their family members, their parents, their grandparents. And so we'll have 20 people show up for an interview, and I ask them, how did you hear about this job? And they're like, oh, my parents told me. And I'm like, oh, really? You didn't see us on Facebook Live? No, but my dad did. And I'm like, okay.
See, told you. I used to get messages like that. I'm going to send my son. Where are you at?
Exactly. Every day.
That's the power of social media. Just because somebody's looking at it and might not need a job, they're going to pass it on to their friends or family.
Exactly. Yeah.
Steve, have you, in our area, and Richard, and you could probably respond to this too, is when I had told you about, you hear me talking about all the time about doing the live videos in front of a company. I know some companies don't like that. And I'm trying to educate them that it's okay, because when you're standing out front of that company, they can see it. First of all, you know where you're going to work. Hey, this is Steve for Elwood. I'm over here at the top, wherever you're located. They see it. Have you seen some clients, like, do they around here sometimes, well, I don't want their name,
Yeah.
Have you seen anything like that, or have you had good feedback from the client?
Yeah, we've had clients. It's been contagious. They see that we're doing it in front of one client, and there's a sense of jealousy now. Like they want it in front of they want you to do a Facebook Live in front of their building.
Yep, domino effect, right?
Yeah, and now I find myself in a hard spot where I can't have too much attention on one and not the other, because everybody wants the Facebook Live now in front of their building. Which is a really good sign of things are changing, and this is a way that we really can reach our ideal candidates and our clients and bring them together, and especially during this pandemic where people are not leaving their houses to come to a job fair or to even come to your branch to interview. We see large companies, staffing companies, that have completely shut their doors and they're doing everything remotely, and that human connection has been lost. And so we're trying to bridge that now with these Facebook Lives and doing these events. It's funny. I've heard you two bash drive-through job fairs just because of the cost associated with it. But hear me out.
All right.
The cost of the job fair, definitely, the manpower, it's expensive. But we're trying to just show a good faith with our associates that we mean it when we say we want you to return to work safely. And if that means doing an interview from your car, great. Now, can they interview from their phone? Absolutely. They don't have to come to the drive-through job fair to interview, but the human interaction, being able to see us in front of the client, does make a difference. But the only time those are successful is going back to where Dave, his mantra is social media. I'll put half of that money into an ad and we'll have 3 times the results, and which is true. So I take both of those, the best of both worlds, and I put them together. So I'm going to spend the money on social media to promote it and do the event, and we have a knockout, a home run every time.
That's awesome. Something, Steven, that we have actually tomorrow we're going to do, and I've done it in the past. It's called a job party. We get on Zoom, 40 of us. I play music. We all interact together. Before you know, you have 30 job seekers interacting with each other. You got 30 people just like that in 40 minutes. So and it's called Job Party. You'll see it on my social media. I make it because we know job fairs. I'm going to be the first one to tell you. Job fairs, I have not went to one in 5 years. They're a waste of time. You set up the stuff, you get one person, I like to be on the streets getting people that way. And I'm sure you're the same way. You sit at a job fair till 2:00. You're like, well, I got 5 candidates. You spent all that money. What did you get out of it?
Yeah. No, I think I love the idea of the virtual interview. We've tested out the Facebook Room feature where you can do a live room in a group and do just virtual interviews, and you can leave that room open all day. Your recruiter can have it at their computer, and they'll get notified when someone enters the room. And then we're just having a video chat like this, doing an interview, and that room can just be open all day.
About that last night. I read about that last night. It was just saying you can actually have 4 to 5 people on it too, right?
Yeah, up to 8.
Yeah, I didn't. Rich, we'll talk about that. I saw that. I don't know if Alexa was listening again but it popped up on my email for Facebook, and I'm like, what the heck is that? And I'm like, I figured they would get into this streamlining eventually.
So think about it. You're in a Facebook job board, jobs of Northern Pennsylvania. Okay, maybe there's 20,000 people in there, and you go live, Richard, and you link a private room like this, and say, hey, we are doing interviews all day long for light industrial, $14.50 an hour. Join the room, do a virtual interview, and we'll get you started. And you literally just leave that link in the group. People see that it's live. They don't see what's going on. They just see the link, and they can click in, and then you can just meet and greet and do an interview right there.
Wow, that's magical. I'm going to tell you, that's awesome, man. I've never done that, but thank you, Steven. I'm going to jump on that tomorrow.
See, I just learned about that, but this is why, like when Steve said, and I take that really to heart, is, tell your secrets. Okay. There's ways you want to put your ideas out there. You're only one person. I mean, I've learned that from DJing, even on the best. But I know, hear me out. There's nothing wrong with saying you're the best. There's nothing wrong. What do you want me to say? I'm okay. Right. But hear me out. So you put that in there and start showing the value. Look what they're doing. And this is what I've been trying to say is it's like grassroots and social media. Yeah. You still need the grassroots. You need the grassroots. You need social media. If you work them together, just like you said about putting, what did you say before about
Hey, Jim?
Facebook rooms,
and you put everything together like that. Look what happens. It works. Mm-hmm. Hey, look, we got Jim Alexander. There he is. He loves doing the interviews. He's over Labor Max.
Nice.
Hi, Jim.
Jimmy. Good morning, buddy.
Yeah. God, but and look, I mean, here's another staffing agency, and they're just great ideas that people have to embrace nowadays.
Well, Dave, here's the thing about good ideas is it's a lot of talk, and 99% of the people they just won't execute on them. Yep. Not everybody can get in front of a camera and do a Facebook Live, but that doesn't mean you don't have someone on your team that's good in front of a camera that can be on Facebook Live or LinkedIn Live. I'm still trying to get approved for a license.
Oh boy.
But that's really, at the end of the day, you have to execute on these things. And where 99% of the other agencies are failing on this, I'm executing at a local level with my team. We're doing it together, and we're gonna continue to make iterations as the market changes. And at the end of the day, we're putting people to work, and our clients are getting these people. I mean, we have so many clients that are struggling to find people. Everybody's struggling to find people in this market. And so our clients and even prospective clients, they're seeing what we're doing different and the things that we're doing to bring more people. And I still can't produce the volume that I need to for my clients because of this market. But I can guarantee you I'm producing 2 times more than my competition because of these things. And we'll continue to do that, and we'll let the other agencies try to figure this out as we lead the charge and make it happen.
That's awesome, Steven. I just want to say, just watching your stuff, and I'm going to praise you over and over again, that you have cutting edge stuff. I mean, sometimes when I watch your stuff and just what you're talking about, I'm thinking he's picking my brain. And this is what we need. People like this in the staffing industry that have that innovative, thinking to get to the next level.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
You're quite welcome.
A new work.
I learned so much from you two, though. I mean, it's good that the 3 of us can come together and just learn from each other.
because that's what Richard, I'll say it. And I know people have heard me about passionate about staffing. And listen, I want to help. I wish some other staffing companies would pair up more, to help each other, because the subbing, taking a chance on somebody with different ideas. I get it. It is a little bit more costly, but it really, really works. Listen, if you work together and you use it as social media, grassroots, listen to other ideas, you're gonna win.
Yeah,
you're gonna win, and that's what it's about. And the education, like you said, Richard's heard me say numerous times, we can take the candidate from part A all the way through virtual, all the way through. Now, this is the next thing that I want to be able to talk to companies about is show a video, just like you said, a virtual tour. Virtual.
Yeah.
Because you could have 10 people on this. Now have the candidates on here, see the place where they're going to work. Okay. Now you have that hiring manager that they've been hired from that company. Come on, talk to them all on their platform. Welcome. You can put the PDF files. You can send everybody. Here's all the safety stuff. Now so after they're done, this is where we used to tour the people and say, do you want to work or not? Because now that he's left, you can say, listen, guys, or candidates, is the job for you? Be honest.
Right.
And if they say, no, not really, okay, but we have another job for you. Okay, so now you don't, those days, Rich, and even yourself, you tell the candidate you got 15 coming, and then 4 didn't show. And now you have that edge. Now you already talked to them, and they're like, no, and they're honest with you.
Imagine this, Dave and Richard. I have a production manager in his facility, and I'm recording him live on Facebook, and he's giving me a tour of the facility, the job, what it entails, what you're doing. And then I'm going to link a Facebook room into that Facebook Live, and someone could click in, and that production manager could just then start interviewing that candidate. And you could do that all day, any day.
That is amazing. And there's nobody doing this, Stephen. I bet you maybe 10 people across the country doing this, if that.
Yeah.
That's
I guess the cell phone's hooked up to that. Jesus, I know.
And Stephen, you probably agree. These companies, we have to educate them to change because they're so used to just sending bodies and whatever we can get out of them.
Yeah.
What you're doing now is so cutting edge. I mean, it's something. If anybody's out there watching this or is going to watch this later, I mean, Stephen, he's an expert. Please follow him. I'm going to tell you, follow him, and you're going to learn a lot from him. And he's giving it all out for free. And
what I like about you, Steve, is you take other people's ideas. Just like now that room. Listen, we're going to check it out. Why not? Yeah. There's a lot of new things out there because every time you turn around, even though we're talking, Alexa listens here. She's going to shoot me some good ideas. We're going to be talking about. No, I don't want you to play anything. But she's a great receptionist. But Alexa, stop. Well, it's a receptionist. But like you said, though, learn from each other.
Right.
I'm not after there's 3,000 jobs out here in the Lehigh Valley. What do you? Good luck.
Yeah.
Good friggin' luck, because for 3%, you're going to get me all friggin' sorry, Richard. But for 3%, 38% markup. I want a 43. Nope. Oh, you got to be kidding me. But on that note, Richard, it's back to you because I'm going to start going off. No.
I know you are. Stephen, is there anything else in the industry that you want to share? It's another trend or something you see out there now since you're one of the experts?
I think just circling back around, it's back to that human connection, that relationship building, and some agencies do a phenomenal job. Independents like yourselves do a phenomenal job at that. But you can't just because of a pandemic and everybody's locked down and our branches are closed. Mine are not closed, but we still try to do everything virtually. You can't lose that human connection. And so you've got to bring that back into your business if you've lost it. And you need to utilize social media as just a staple of that process. You have to connect. At the end of the day, if I'm a job seeker and I need help, I need someone to help me find a job, I have to think of your company, your brand first before anybody else. And when you've accomplished that, and you're only going to do it through social media and, as one major tool, as well as a few others, you've won the market. And now you're able really provide good service, good jobs. You're able to connect the job seeker with the best clients, and you've won. At the end of the day, you've won when you've reached that point.
I totally agree. And your face is the branding. I always tell people, even on my business cards, I have my picture on there. So if I go to a trade show, they see my picture, they match it up with my voice and everything that I've, talked about. So great techniques.
Yeah. And then you get to trust somebody because I believe in video to where, like, I've watched you, Rich, I've watched you, and when they see you, the candidate sees you, they know, I watched him all the time, or he's cool, he's cool, or he tells the truth. It's okay. It's fun, and they see a face, not just, like you said, Rich, when we talk about staffing, temporary, the name candidate, and contract employee, represent the company.
Exactly.
I want my client to represent, and I'm sorry, think of me as being honest. Same thing with you.
Well, you want your candidates to think of you as the front door of that client company. You have to be that front door. And
totally agree. And you'll laugh at this, Steven. I call myself, I'm the job agent. I'm like Jerry Maguire. Instead of show me the money, show me the job. I go in every time I talk to that candidate, I'm your agent. They're like, I said, it's free. I'm representing you. And they're like, at that point, they're like, that barrier's broke. They're like, they're ready to say, hey, what can you get me? And I'm like, let's talk. So, it's breaking them walls down, because we don't know what everybody we talk to candidates wise, we don't know what they've been through. Right. I mean, if they don't show up for work the day before, what happened to them? I mean, what happened? So we have to
you can't give these people a hard time for quitting on the third day. Like, this is the economy we live in, and you coach them up, you make them better. Like, hey, Richard, I'm sorry it didn't work out, that it was 2 days in and you decided it was too hard for you. Let's help you find something that would be a better fit. And hey, what did you learn from those 2 days? Is there anything you can take from that experience and bring it to your next job? Like, it does not have to be a negative experience. Make it a positive experience, a learning experience. That's all it is when we make mistakes and we quit, or we get we're let go. Like, there's just experiences that we can learn from that. We don't have to place labels on them. We just help them and coach them up and bring that experience to the next job.
Exactly. And we work so hard to get them with a job. Why just terminate them and leave them out to hang? You know what I mean? That's not, I never understood that with staffing firms. They just want to burn and turn some candidates. I'm like, let's give them a chance. Have you talked to them? Have you coached them up? I love that word.
I do. I'm going to use that. I'm going to write that one down.
Because I'm a big coach, Steven. I'm a big coach. I always say, I'm the head coach. I'm a Patriot fan, so don't hold that against me. I'm Bill Belichick and you're Tom Brady. Back in the day, that was the simple thing.
Yeah.
Without you and without me, we don't have a job. And they're like, wow. So they feel bad when they call off work, because they're like, I got to report to Richard, my coach. That's what they think now. They don't think I'm his recruiter. I'm the coach.
Yeah, I love
and
that.
It works. It's a psychological thing that we both engage in.
Yep.
I did want to ask you, Steve, over, with being in Utah, what kind of struggles have you seen with, like, some of the logistics and all professions, really? Are you seeing it all over in all types of industries?
If you looked at the unemployment data in Utah, you wouldn't think we'd have the problems that we're having. We've got a 5.2% unemployment. That's pretty low considering the rest of the country.
Yeah.
But the light industrial space, that is where, people are just struggling. And it's just because so many of them shut down for a month or two that they're trying to get caught up. They're trying to get their product out. They have vendors and customers that are in the same situation. Everybody's trying to get caught up and get the product out, which requires, double the headcount to make it happen, but they're only getting half the headcount, and people just can't breathe. It's every manufacturer, just distributor. I mean, they are just struggling to keep their head up out of water, and which is, I mean, if you think about it, it's great opportunity for someone that wants to move up in a company. If they want to be a line lead or a production manager or shift manager, because there's so much business on the table, it's created openings, and people that normally wouldn't be, considered for that role, not because of their experience or lack of experience. They're now being considered, and it's just a great opportunity for somebody who wants to grow their career in light industrial. They can do it right now. This is the best economy to grow your career. The other verticals, everything is work from home now, so it's not as a big of a struggle. But light industrial by far in Utah has been hit the hardest.
Wow. Rich, I only have one more thing, and I'm going to let you wrap it up. Is I like what you said, and I listen now. I listen. The way you worded that for candidates. Now, if you back him up, what he was saying is sell it. Look at the opportunities, not just come on down here, work for $14.50. You just said what I picked up on that is look at the opportunities that you can work your way up and get that next level job, because they're short-staffed as supervisors. They're short-staffed as leads. Listen, you look at that resume, you take that time. That's what I like what you just said. And that sold me right there. I'd be like, I'm learning today more. Look at this. But take that direction of explaining that to the candidate, because you know what they're capable of. You see their resume, you'd be like, what?
And that's the extra motivation to go, you know what? I know this COVID-19 is scary, but you walked me through what the company's doing to keep people safe. I now have a reason to work harder, to make more money for my family. And I see the career opportunity, the growth opportunity. And that might just be enough to get somebody off unemployment and back to work.
That's it. All right. Well, Richard, it's all yours.
All righty. Stephen, one more question. Have you seen companies raise their rates now since they are looking for more workers and more advancement instead of like 12, 14? Are they bumping up a little bit?
The ones that are staying open, that need to get product out, they're raising their rates. They're $2 premium pay an hour. We've seen $4 increases per hour. Wow. And most of them are temporary. Just through the end of the year, we're going to reward you for working, and we got to get this product out. So we're going to pay you as much as we can that's profitable to get this product out. The companies that are not doing it, they are just, they're struggling. They don't know what to do. And I think most of them are at a critical mass right now that they have to change. They have to increase their wages. And that's what they're doing. So there'll be very few companies that'll not change their wages to compete with this market, with the unemployment benefits. We don't know what's going on with Congress and the extra stimulus, but that's all uncertain. But what's certain is there's going to be a stimulus. There's going to be something that you can, an extra 600, 400, 300, whatever that amount is every week. And so with that, employers have to change. They have to be competitive. They need to give you a financial reason to, come back to work.
Exactly. And I'm glad you said that, because I turned away 2 companies 2 weeks ago, $12 an hour. I'm not going to put anybody to work for $12 an hour. No. I wouldn't even get out of bed for that. I'm being honest. My laborers, I'm like, no, you deserve at least $13.50 to $14 an hour base starting out.
Well, that's $600 a week equates to $2,400 a month. You have to make at least $14.50 an hour to even make $2,400 a month.
Exactly. So why would you even give that up? I mean, that's what these companies have to be educated for that. Well, hey, Stephen, I want to thank you again for being on this show, man. Yeah, you're going to come back all the time. I think we're going to have you once a week, if that's okay with Dave. I'm sure he'll say yay. But no, I think it'd be great to have you on there once a week, just chatting about some staffing. We can call it staffing chat on Fridays or something. But I want to thank you again. God bless you. And I love that you're part of my workforce family now, because we need good people like you out there. So at the end, you know what we're going to do. 1, 2, 3.
All right, Shark. He's taking his picture. All right, everybody. Thanks so much. And we got Raquel Boris coming up next.
All right.
It's a pleasure, buddy. I'll talk to you soon.
Yes, thanks so much. And with Richard, I always want to make sure you never know if he's wearing his boxer shorts. Here we go.